Welcome to another edition of Talking Models. Today we're taking a little break from the Blackheart model wall hangers to look at this beautiful gem, Max Schreck, from the silent film from 1922, Nosferatu. Sculpted by Jeff Yagher and is currently available. I will be posting the contact information for Eric in the body of this video. You can contact him to get this great kit. Let me spin it around so you can take a quick look at it. You can see you got old Nosferatu sitting on top of the ruins of a castle, surrounded by rocks, castles, a little bridge, more sand, backs of the building, lots of detail. Just amazing detail. You can see Jeff, as always, captured that look of Max Schreck as he portrayed Nosferatu in this silent film. If you haven't seen this movie, give it a look. Check it out. Yeah, there's no talking, there's no color. It's a silent film, but it's just filled with eerie moments and this guy. Well, let's talk a little bit about this kit and what I did to bring it to life. So, as always, you've got to wash these kits up good with some detergent and just get all that mold release off. There was some sanding on this one, mostly in the head area. I had to get some seam lines out and a little bit in this area here. Pretty straightforward. So it was started out with Krylon Automotive Light Gray Primer, and once I let that dry for a day, make sure it's all nice and dry, then I brought it out and the fun began. So what I did after the initial priming, I brought out these. These are great primers from Badger. Give these a try. I took the black and I just airbrushed his jacket and the whole base here. Just sprayed it good with the black. Let it dry. For his head, I went over with their gray primer and I shot the head. So now I have a nice initial primer, and then this primer, which really bites into the kit and gives you a solid foundation to bring your piece to life. So starting with the base, used a few different colors here. I'll bring them out. This one, I basically used everything from the Badger Freakflex line. If you haven't checked out these paints, give them a shot. So I used three different types. I gave it a base coat first with the Cursed Earth. Shot the whole base. Not the buildings, just all the base with that. Then I came in with Rotten Tooth Tan, and I began building highlights on the different rocks and the crevices all around it. Hit it again then with Bleach Bone Tan, and I just kind of hit the certain highlights here on the rocks, on the bottoms here. Just kind of go around, anywhere you see highlights, just hit it with that. And that'll give you a nice foundation for the base. Now you've got to bring out some of the details. So what I do is always I enlist these beautiful transparents from Jesse over at Graduous Colors, transparent raw umber and transparent dark brown. Those were used just basically to build in your shadows. Everywhere you see crevices and things, just build it up with that. Just keep punching in the detail all around, everywhere. And then come back in with your original colors. Usually what I do is use my last highlight color, and I usually hit the highlights with that one because your other tone's are already built in. So you want to hit that initial highlight. It's just a layering of colors, which gives you, I think, a much deeper and more realistic look to your model when you're done. And then once I had all that shading done, I just came in with my trusty transparent black. Did the waltz, 1, 2, 3 over the whole thing to quiet it down. Done. Moving on to the buildings. A variety of different things going on here. For the roofs area, I brought out this, I think it's a great color. It's a Bloody Wooden Stake. And I use that for all the roofs of the various castle tops, building tops. And then again, you kind of dull that down a little bit with the transparent black, and then I used a little bit of the transparent dark brown, just kind of a quick little mist on all of it, and then came back in with that wooden stake and just hit a little bit of highlights, the center areas, corners of the building, top of the roof, over here on the side. Just anywhere you're going with that roof color, just come back in and kind of darken it down, give it a worn look, if you will. Now for the buildings themselves, I brought out Hot as Hell Orange. And I really like this color, and I just kind of started hitting the building with that orange all the way around. Having a mishap with my Lazy Susan. And I kind of did it a little bit brighter in the front just to look like, I don't know, the moon was on it. Use your imagination. The sun was going down. There was a little bit of a shade, a little bit of that shine on it. Just kind of go back in and hit different areas and just kind of highlight that. Like you can see here, I went a little bit brighter with it here again, thinking that sunset is coming in, lighten it up. I also use the orange and hit in the windows on the front here and also on the back here a little bit, just to give a little bit of a difference. And then what I did once I had that done is I came back in with transparent raw umber and just hit it over the orange, which gives you this look. It just gives you kind of a worn look, and that's what we were shooting for. Now on the windows on this building and on the front up here, I just kind of wanted it to be a little airy, just kind of an airy look. So I brought out a Fuchsia Blue and also brought out my Badger Chrome. Just got in there real tight, hold your breath, just a couple little sprays, and it just hit the areas there nicely. Wanted to add some yellows, different. I tried to go with just kind of a different look, just kind of airy look all the way around. So what I brought out is this cool color called Cat's Eye Yellow, which is from that Badger line. And I just hit them, I punched in the windows. Anywhere, I think, I did a couple up in here too. Just to give it like maybe the candles on, and he's got a place ready for you to spend the night. That way he doesn't have to go out. He orders in carry out, and he's set for the night. So the rooms are waiting, the lights are on, and it's very inviting if you dare. So once I just kept going back and forth with the different colors, and it was just a back and forth process of using those colors and washes with transparent dark brown and transparent raw umber. And that was basically everything on the buildings on top of the base. The windows here, I just shot them with transparent black. I just kind of hit each window there just to give it a blacked out look, if you will. And that completed the base. Everything you see there was done. Now for his jacket, over the black, what I like to do is I came in on this one with this color here. It was a black red, and I shot it over there, covered the whole area here. And it gave me that kind of dirty reddish look I was looking for over the black. And then what I did is came in with a red color, which I did not bring out here, I apologize, but it was basically dark red from Garage US Colors, and started hitting all the highlights. Everywhere there's lifts in his jacket, tops of the folds, front of the jacket, on the tops, just kind of bring it out, as you can see what it does. And then once you bring your transparent black in and start punching in the shadows, it just gives it some depth. And you can do a light misting over the jacket with the transparent black. And of course, once you're done with that, it's going to be up to you to come back in with that dark red and just punch in some highlights. You'll see it as it unfolds. Just hit the tops of the folds. Anywhere that there's folds sticking out, create the shadows. Build up the reds, punch in the shadows. And your eye will see it. When you get to that point, you'll say, boom, then you're done. And that was it with the jacket. For the back of his jacket here, this area, one of the best blacks, I've talked about it before, Body Bag Black from this Freak Flex line. Deep, deep black. I want to get these things in jugs, man, with the dispenser and just rock this stuff, because it is a good, deep black. Check it out. You won't be sorry. And I just hit this whole area there with that. You can see it just gives it a sheen, just a flat, and then once you dull coat it, whatever lacquer you use, it's boom, trust me. So his jacket was done. Over the black for his shirt area, enlisted my other favorite color from that Badger line, near black, and just punched in all the highlights, just gave it a nice general coat of that. And then of course you start shadowing with your transparent black, and back and forth process till you get the look you want. And that finishes him up. Now for Nasi himself, for the flesh tones, one of my favorite sets here is it's from Reaper, their Master Series. And this we used tan, and then we used their other color, which is tan shadow. And it was basically using those two colors. Starting out with your tan color, you just spray the whole piece. Just give it a nice coat, put it on your Lazy Susan, rock it out. Then you come back in with the shadows, you start punching in, building up the shadows on his skin, just kind of quieting the flesh down, building up your colors, building up your layers. So that was back and forth process till I got what I was looking for on his skin. Then what I did is I came in with the transparent raw umber. And for that, I just kind of lightly misted his skin to give it a yellowish look, if you will, yellowish over the tan. But I also used it to punch in the shadows on the crevices on his face, on his nose, in his ears, along the bottom, above his lips, and just kind of work that color in. And it just gives it that nice yellowish, fleshy tone that I was looking to accomplish with this. And I pulled it off as far as what I wanted to do. And so it was back and forth process, working in the transparent raw umber, the fleshes, and getting to that point to where I was happy with it. I wanted to punch in a distress look along his eyes, so I brought in the transparent Mars Red from Graduous Colors and just punched in the eye areas on both sides to give him that distress look. I added a little bit in the cheek areas on his face with that transparent Mars Red, just to give it a little rosy, maybe just ate, the blood still going through his system. And that was basically everything I did to his flesh tones. I did use some transparent black and hit above his eyes just to give it some more depth of going back into his head, below the eyebrows. And then what I did is I came in and I hand painted in the eyebrows and the little bit of hair on each side, and came in with this, I think it was Dove Gray from Delta Cream Coat, and just dry brushed it in. It's a lot of raised areas. Just keep dry brushing, build up your color. And then I always like to use the transparent black to kind of quiet it down. And it gives it that finish. And that, for his lips too, I did use that Mars Red, and I just punched around his lips, inside of his mouth, and just used that to kind of punch in some redness, some distraught look, some, to me, like an aged look. His teeth was done with Rotten Tooth Tan, and then I airbrushed some bleach bone tan on his teeth to give it that whitish look, but not white. It doesn't want to be too stark. And it just gives it that dirty look. After all, he's old. Now his eyes, which I really had a lot of fun with. The eyes, I started out with airbrushing the bleach bone tan into his eyes. And then you draw in the pupils. I wanted to give him a slight looking over to his left, just kind of contemplating, maybe somebody's over there, maybe he's summoning someone, who knows. So I kind of drew in the eye pupils, and again, just find out where the eye goes, and like I've described, do your half moons on each side. Once you're happy, fill it in, then paint it in with your black. Now, deciding the eye color. I want to give him a greenish look, just like a spooky green. So I went into my Badger Freakflex line and looked at the 90 colors that comes in that set, and I chose two, Goblin Green and Reptilius Green. Two awesome colors. So I started with the Reptilius Green, and with the good old Badger Chrome, I just airbrushed the circle in, leaving a hint of black. And then from that, I drew in another color, leaving a hint of that green and a hint of that black. And I shot it with the Hobgoblin Green, actually Goblin Green. And I just kind of did real light coats and built it up. until you get the color you're looking for. Then, of course, what I like to do then is come back in with the black pastel, work the edges of the eye to give it that soft transition into the eye, and the same for the pupil, kind of just do the edges real lightly, and then it gives you that transition look, that it's not just like a harsh line. It looks more like a transition, like your eye. Then on the bottom of his eyes, what I always like to do is bring out my trusty red oxide, and I just paint the line right under his eyeball, if you will. Just kind of go a little bit heavier to give him that reddish look. And that was everything that was done to good old Nosferatu. This is a great kit. It's a nice size. It doesn't take up a lot of room, but it's ghastly. And it's a Jeff Yagher. And this is a very, very affordable kit. Eric does a great job producing this. And like I said, it is available. And it's worth checking out. If you're a fan of Jeff Yagher, if you're a fan of Nosferatu, if you like classic horror, you put those three together, you get the boom, and you get this kit. So I can't recommend it enough. It's now going to go out in the man cave, and it's going to creep more people out when they come over, and that's what we do, right? We create, we creep people out, and we enjoy the hobby that God has gifted us with. So thanks for stopping in today to Talking Models, and we're going to get back on track in the next episode looking at the wall hangers from Blackheart Models. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why not join our family? Why not subscribe? Share this with your fellow modeler buddies and let them know the channel exists. If you have questions, if you have things you'd like me to talk about, hit me up, send me a message, comment on this video. Support, come alongside of me. I love this hobby, and if you're watching this, you must too. So once again, thanks for stopping in today, and may God bless your day.